Hi everybody, welcome to Oodles and Doodles, Oodles of Doodles, Doodle Oodles today. Call it what you want. You'll need your art journal and your markers and any other pens or pencils that you might have. We are going to work on some doodle techniques and do several different pages inside here. But first of all, I just took all of my markers out and I want to line them up in rainbow form, which is Roy G. Biv. And Roy G. Biv stands for red, orange, yellow, which is Roy. G is green, and Biv, B-I-V, blue, indigo, violet. So I'm going to put them in rainbow, and Roy G. Biv is how you can remember. So red, orange, yellow, green, Roy G. Biv, blue, indigo is like sky blue, and then violet is purple. Okay, so right there are my rainbow colors. Now, if I wanted to put the remainder of my colors in here and like sort through it, I would probably put, the pink could go maybe towards here, here, something like that. This is kind of a green blue. Maybe it'll go like that. And like this orange, some kind of combination like that, right? And then we've always got like our black and brown and gray that can go anywhere. But this is a nice way to represent. If yours doesn't look exactly like this, it's okay. But I wanted to have some form of rainbow. And you know what, in my art journal, this is one of the things that I like to journal about, is things that we're learning. So I'm going to write out Roy G. Biv, just so I remember. And a reminder, these pens have two sides. So there's a skinny side and like a little bit fatter of a side. I'm going to use the fat side. So Roy, I'm just going to write red. And this way we can always remember what a rainbow looks like. And then O for orange. A-N-G-E, orange. Y. So you guys can see this, right? Yellow. And it's just a really good reminder. G for green. Blue. Indigo. Indigo is like a sky blue. Oops. Make sure you get those marker tips on there good. And then violet, which is like purple. So that's how I can always remember rainbow colors. Now that I have this, one thing that I like to do is I get a little overwhelmed sometimes with color choices, but if I have the rainbow in front of me, I like to take 3 colors that are touching each other in the rainbow. And so I'm gonna take these 3 colors right here. This red and kind of 2 oranges, okay? And these colors are like hot, right? They're reds, they kind of feel like they're hot, like the sun. Cool colors would be like blues, blues and purples. And how I remember that is water is a lot of times cool, or icicles and snowflakes are cool. And I think of them like blue colors. Okay, so we're gonna take the warm colors and we are going to doodle with the warm colors on this page. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna write the word warm. Warm colors. And I'm gonna fill this page with warm colors by doing some doodles. I'm gonna draw some arrows. You guys see that? You can draw arrows that are big. I'm gonna draw some that are even bigger. I just like drawing arrows. This one I drew 2 lines and then a triangle at the end. What's another way you could draw an arrow? Just a straight line and a skinny little triangle at the top, and then maybe this, do little angles. Looky there. And I want you to fill your entire page only using these colors, drawing arrows. This arrow is going to be silly. It's a twirling arrow. This arrow is going, these arrows are going to point at something. This arrow will be dashes. You guys see? And maybe I want to turn my book. And maybe this arrow is directing us around the corner. Look at that, like a little frame. That reminds me, maybe I could make a frame out of this just by using these shapes of arrows. This can be anything you want. But I'm just going to continue making fun shapes with these 3 pens that have different sides. I did go ahead and get a little cup of water right here. And this is just so I can push some of this color around. And look, these markers bleed when we put water on them, but it also acts like watercolor. And I kind of like that to fill up the page and just experiment with some different ways that this can look. I like these two colors blending. I'm just putting a little water on here. That looks really amazing, actually. And when it dries, I can actually go on top of these arrows, kind of draw a little bit more, do some more detail. But I love the way this is looking by spreading that color out that we used before. Check that out. Warm colors, right? What else is a warm color? A sun. And a sun has almost like arrows pointing at it. So it just made me think of a little sun. So I'm going to draw a little sun here and add some water. Let's move over here to make this rainbow look really cool. I'm going to take a little bit of my red. I'll do a little bit of orange and yellow. And start blending these. Look at that. It's so cool how that reacts. Isn't that beautiful? Let's do a little green. Blue. Indigo. And violet. Start blending in here. You may want to wash out your brush in between each one of these. Look how gorgeous that is. Just made a rainbow. With all of those colors. I love it. I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to move to another page. And I'm actually going to do cool colors on this side. When I think of cool colors, I'm going to grab my blues and purples. Yeah, these colors. And I'm going to write cool colors. Cool. Now, what are some things that we mentioned before that are cool colors? We mentioned maybe water or like waves. I'm just making, these are long C's, like the letter C. And if I do the C and elongate it and then come around the back, it's like a wave. If I wanted to go in between here, with another color. That's cool too. We could even remember the bubbles that we made the other day. That might be awesome on this too. And I'm just overlapping this pattern. We've talked a lot about patterns this week. Maybe I'll use a little watercolor or water to color the markers and let that spread. But this is just oodles of doodles inside your book. Each page you can have a different theme. And on this page, it's cool colors. And we're just going to be doodling with all of our cool colors. The art journal is so we can learn about techniques and we can learn about different mediums. I've been saying that all week long. For example, this one, we're learning about markers, right? We've got two different sides of tips, but we're also learning about the rainbow and warm colors, how to doodle arrows, and on this page, cool colors. What are some other things that come to mind when we're talking about cool colors? Miss Mel, what kind of things do you think about when you think about cool colors?
Cool colors. I think about water, of course. Wind.
Oh, wind. I wonder how we could demonstrate wind or rain. Wind.
Snow is cool too.
What is that?
Snow.
Snow. So
Clouds.
I'm kind of thinking of clouds right now. And clouds produce rain. So we could do some raindrops. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the raindrops turn into like little dots, so we can use kind of a different pattern. Let's color in some of those clouds. I'm going to use the fat side of this marker. And I'm not even going to do that good of a job of coloring it in because I'm going to use the water afterwards. Kind of fill in some of that color. Looky there. That looks awesome. And then maybe I'm just going to make some little raindrops. With my brush. Oh, I like the way those cool colors are looking. I'm going to use some more cool colors. This blue, I want to see how it reacts when I go over it in water. So down here, this was very wet. And I can see it's bleeding in some of the parts. Let's put some more water on there. Remember the technique that we used the other day with our plastic bag? We can grab our plastic and we can make our own paint that way too. Grabbing some paint and then coloring, making our own paint and making the background a color. I love that. So we can just continue to layer and layer and layer on here. I do want to go back to this page. This page is wet. It's okay. It's going to make an interesting design on the other side. No problem. It will just make it very interesting. I like all of the layers that are happening here. Now, if I wanted to go over some of these arrows, I love the background that it provided me. I could do some arrows again. And we're just layering on top of what we had done before. Experiment with the different size tip and how they look. Like this one's skinny, so I can get a really thin line with that one. I'm just going to continue doodling and playing with that page. I wanted to leave you with one more thought. I'm going to fill up this whole page. I thought it might be fun if I did some kind of cut in this paper to make it a little more interesting. So I'm going to draw a line. It's a crazy line, but I just drew a line and I'm going to cut alongside. And I call this a die cut to go inside. And so now my paper has a very interesting edge, and I can see the warm and then the cool side. Isn't that neat? You don't need to do this to every side, but it's just something, a nice little edge like this is really fun to add to your art journal. And you could even create a pocket that way in your art journal, but it's lots of fun. I'm going to continue and I'll show you my final piece when we come back. Okay guys, so I'm continuing to make crazy designs and colors and add to my doodles. Remember we made that cool little edge here. I made a rainbow because I had lots of room here. So I sketched out a rainbow, filled it in with colors. And now I'm even gonna go and take my brush and go over each one of these. I'm really loving how that marker is providing watercolor for me. Oh, it almost kind of made that disappear a little bit. But I can still see the words, and I'm getting the color out of it that I want. But what a beautiful background that has made for me in my art journal. And then my warm colors on this side, once it dried, I started doing some little designs with my arrows and adding them in all these little places. So that's been fun. And don't forget, I made that cool little page like this. That's just something silly you could do inside. But have fun creating, make more rainbow pages, experiment with all of your pens, try a warm color page. Maybe you want, instead of arrows, maybe you do fire. And then the cool color page, you can just continue layering more things on. Maybe you'll find blue pieces of paper that you can tear up and cut on here too, different colors of blue. Anyway, I just want you to have fun with your art journal. This is where you can practice. This is where you can doodle. This is where you can experiment with all types of mediums. We hope you enjoyed this week of art journaling, and we can't wait to see what you've done. Take care. Bye.